2-Minute Drill with Jedd Fisch, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official University of Arizona debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org/wildcat.
Cats are home Saturday night to host the Colorado Buffaloes. 6:30 kickoff at Arizona Stadium. Hope to see everybody there. Coach, a quick word about the Cal game. Gap sound defense. You use that phrase when talking about, in particular, stopping the run. Explain the gap sound defense for those who don't know.
Sure. When you look at an offensive formation, the defensive players are each responsible for a spot in between every player. So between the center and the guard and the tackle. Each one of those gaps, so to speak, are designated by a letter and also designated by a defensive kind of like a spot where the defense has to stop. So if we're running through the center guard area, you're running through the A gap. You're running through the guard tackle area through the B gap. So we ask our linebackers and our defensive linemen, each one to be responsible for one of those spots. And sometimes what happened in the game against Cal is that we had two guys in one area and nobody in another area. So we're working really hard to make sure that we stay gap sound, so to speak.
Dorian Singer had his best game as a Wildcat. If you look back at last season, he didn't play for the first 7 games and then all of a sudden burst onto the scene, and now 41 catches in his last 9 games. Tell us about where he came from and where he is now.
Yeah, Dorian was, we're real fortunate to get Dorian. We got Dorian as a walk-on here when I first arrived on campus, maybe about a month or so after I got here. Coach Cummings came to me and said, we have a guy that we think would be a great walk-on for us and could develop into a scholarship player. As we watched him develop, we noticed that he can develop quickly into a scholarship player. So as a true freshman, he, the last 4 games of the season, or 5 games of the season, became a starter for us. And he started showing up, and we talked about him a little bit in some of the games. He made a huge catch against Cal a year ago. And then he did certainly have his best game as a Wildcat, but now we're consistently expecting a very high standard from Dorian, and he's earned a scholarship and earned a starting position.
On the other side of the ball, Isaiah Taylor had his best game, 9 tackles up in Berkeley, great bloodlines there. And how far or how quickly has he progressed now?
Yeah, Isaiah's another one that came, he was one of the 2 high school kids that we signed when we arrived here in the February signing day, Isaiah Taylor and Anthony Simpson. And Isaiah, obviously, Jason being his dad, he has tremendous bloodlines, Hall of Fame pops. And as he's gotten here, he's continuing to get stronger and faster, more comfortable in our system. And now as a true sophomore, had a lot more playing time this past week. And I think he did a lot of nice things. All
right, you've heard this before. A winless team can be the most dangerous team because they are a desperate team. And so what will Colorado bring to town on Saturday?
Well, the 4 games that Colorado have lost, they've lost to teams that are 14-1 combined. So they've lost to some really good football teams. They also beat us handily a year ago. So we need to make sure that we understand how good of a team this can be, how dangerous of a team this team is. We certainly are taking no one lightly. And we're coming off of a very tough game against Cal. We need to play our best game to win this football game and to make it competitive all the way through the 4th quarter, and that's what we're expecting it to be.
All right, Cats Buffalo, Saturday night, 6:30. We'll see you at the stadium.
2-Minute Drill with Jedd Fisch is presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Whether buying your first car or purchasing a new home, Hughes is here to help take you further. HughesFCU.org, insured by NCUA.
By being a Hughes member, I learned to be a lot more careful with my money. I put a lot more into savings every paycheck that I get. I've gotten a secure credit card to help build my credit score. They taught me a lot about savings, what to do in case of emergency. I'm more prepared for my future, thanks to Hughes.
Wildcat Nation, the desert is rising. Arizona football is rising. The Wildcats are rising. The time is now. Rise with us.